Sean Fennessey, and this is The Big Picture. You are getting a very special conversation episode. We were making an episode earlier this week about The Smashing Machine. Van Lathan was here, Amanda was here, and we were excited to talk about that movie. But we were also excited to talk because Van and I have been having private conversations over the last 2 weeks or so about one battle after another. What does one battle after another mean? What does it mean to the box office? What does it mean to culture at large? What does it mean about representation? And we got off, as we often do when Van is on the show, on a long tangent and a deep, I thought, very thoughtful exploration of a lot of the ideas that are packed inside the movie and externally in the film-going culture right now. So we've decided to just make this its own episode. Van is always a very special guest, but this was a uniquely fun and deep conversation that the three of us were able to have. So I hope you will enjoy it. I hope you will receive it in good faith. I hope you will understand that we're trying to explore something that is sometimes very complicated and dicey, representation-wise, intellectually, emotionally, and especially for me, for a movie that I care about so deeply. So I hope you enjoy this deep excursion into the internal and external worlds of one battle after another with Van Lathan. This episode is presented by LinkedIn Ads.
Sometimes marketing gets wasted on the wrong people. Like if you see an ad for movie-themed dog sweaters when you don't even have a pet.
Reach exactly who you need with LinkedIn Ads. With a network of 130 million decision makers, they can help you target by job title, industry, company size, or even skills. It's one of the reasons LinkedIn Ads generates the highest B2B return on ad spend of all online ad networks. Seriously, all of them.
Try it out. Spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/thebigpicture. Terms and conditions apply.
A movie that has been hotly tabbed for the Academy Awards is One Battle After Another.
Here we go.
Oh, here we do it.
Yeah. It's your time.
So it's been a long road.
Long road
to this conversation.
A long road doing like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
up and down
I see what you did
Borrego
there.
Springs
Yeah.
Hills.
Long road doing like that.
We have both alluded to on our podcasts the
Uh-huh.
conversation that we had, the conversations you've been having.
Sure.
I wanted you to be able to express what you were saying in the run-up to the release of the movie, and also I want to hear what you think about the movie and how you feel about what you were expressing in the aftermath.
All right, film bros, I come in peace. I come in peace. This is what I was expressing, and I do understand both sides of this argument. Is particularly being in a place where you're trying to create films and get films out there. First, let me go back to just me, period, because those are just opinions from me. I am all about the have-not creator, all about the person that doesn't have what they need. And how does the person that doesn't have what they need, how do they get a chance to talk? How do they get a chance to... I am, at this point in my career, not really that person. Like, I know a lot of different people. I can get my opinions out. I can do what I need to do to make the stuff that I need to make. But there are a lot of people who can't. And these stories that these people are trying to tell are just so important to them. I mean, if you ever sit down with someone who has a script or has an idea and they sit in front of you with this full understanding of the weight of what their life has been and what their artistic expression is, and then you have to explain to them, okay, well, this is what we have to do. And then you take them to a meeting where they go, you need to put a rapper in your movie, or you need to funnel it through this person's.
Right.
And you just watch slowly as the life gets sucked out of this person. And as their thing that they had becomes something else, but they want to see it, it's tough being on that side of it, right? And it's, people go, we give you 3. And just for movies like this, we need to know that you can make 5 or 6. And you're
Million,
like,
you mean?
$1 million, right? And that's not across the board. There are plenty of films getting made by plenty of amazing directors and people are making them for the art. It's still happening. Then there's this other side. And I think this is something that's both a reaction to some of the filmmaking that's happened in the last 10 or 15 years, and also an appreciation of some of the filmmakers, to where gigantic budgets are being given to people that we know are amazing filmmakers. And these films don't have any of those same constraints. There are people on the other end of this that are going, Van, they earned that. You're right. They earned it. How you gonna sit down and talk to the director of talk about the director of the master, and then talk about how much money he should be given to make a movie. It's a silly thing to do, but somebody has to do it. and the reason why I'm saying this, I'm not talking about the budget itself. I'm talking about the idea that the film doesn't have to be profitable, or the idea that the movie, there's one part of the equation that it just doesn't have to meet. To me, the health of the industry for the smaller filmmaker denotes that someone should say, hey, everyone should have to at least care to a degree about the fiscal responsibility of the movies that they're making, because they're asking the smaller filmmakers to do that, and they're pinching pennies when they give them money. Even Sinners. Sinners comes out, Sinners, fuck before the movie. Sinners, he gets $90 million to make it. Forget about before the movie. The movie actually opens. It opens big. And the immediate conversation was, okay, this is a big opening, but look how much further this film has to go to attain profitability. Now, there's a whole audience of people that honestly did not care whether or not Sinners made money at all, because it was a cultural celebration of who they were. And it seemed as if the town was directly saying, yeah, but this is going to significantly alter and change filmmaking if this movie doesn't make money. And so everybody went, fuck it, we're going to see it, right? Over and over and over and over again, because we need to see more films like this.
That was one reason why. There were people just like it.
They liked it, and the word of mouth was crazy, right? I saw that bitch 4 times, and that was because, it was also because of that. He sold me on the Kodak shit. The 10-minute Kodak thing, I had to see the movie.
It's related to what we're discussing here.
Right. This film comes out, 170, the tracking says 22, and all I said was, nah, it needs to make money. And the reason why I'm saying it is just me trying to keep the same energy, even amongst the geniuses. I've had so many conversations with so many people that I respect about this. There were some filmmakers or people that I know that reached out, prominent ones, and said, what you said is true. And then there were others that said, let me explain to you why what you're talking about is actually not the way to look at it. I respect both schools of thought. The only thing that I'm saying is that, like, there still has to be someone who is saying that, and I guess this is what I'm saying, that the responsibility, both creatively and financially, for a piece of art has to exist with the haves and the have-nots alike. That's all that I was trying to say.
I think it's a reasonable thing to be asking for that is unrealistic to expect.
Okay.
Well, I think that I agree with you, but also it leads me to a different conclusion, which is really our experience in life.
Okay.
Which is just like that the commodification of art produces inequality and bummer outcomes that disproportionately affect, people without resources, people starting out, people who don't make art, who haven't made a ton of art, and then who thus, because they have to get fed in a system to make their art, don't get to make it the way that they want. That sucks. That's bad. I think, and I wish that were not the case. I think that this is an example of someone using money and the commodification of art to their own goals, and to, like, because PTA escaped the system for whatever reason, I don't think he should be punished. I think we should celebrate that and be like, he got a ton of money from a corporation that we don't like very much to do whatever he wants, and more people should get to do that. And to Sean's point, you're right that it's more people are not going to get to do that, and it's unfair. But I don't want to punish him. I don't want to celebrate the corporation. I don't want to celebrate I want to celebrate the fact that someone is getting to use the money to do what they want, and say we should more people should get to do that.
Okay.
But that's a fantasy land. That's not going to happen.
No.
I know that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And this is where I have to be the bummer.
I mean,
let's go ahead and inject race.
Of course. Yeah. And it's a white filmmaker. I get it.
And so not just white filmmaker, but like also man, right?
Sure.
So the bummer of it is that in the movies that PTA has made, right? Like all of these films, these are highly artistic, very ambitious movies. And they are accepted and lauded because a lot of times they don't need to be culturally translated. So if you have a certain filmmaking understanding, you get Punch Drunk Love, you get The Master, you get Inherent Vice, you get these movies, right? A lot of our filmmakers and a lot of our films, Black people and women and queer filmmakers, their magnum opuses aren't received the same way. So the question is, how are they going to become PTA?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that
I don't know if I agree with that.
Meaning that the guy who made Mo Better Blues has never gotten a $170 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who made Malcolm X and Do the Right Thing and Bamboozled and that guy never got a $170 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
That guy just put a movie out a couple of weeks ago that opened in 2 cities, was made for like $15 or $20 million. And
No.
What
No.
What was it made for?
No, the Highest to Lowest is made for a lot more money than that.
What was it made for?
If it's under 50, I'll be stunned.
Okay, 50.
I'll be
Fair
stunned.
enough.
Action set pieces, Denzel paycheck.
Well, I can be honest with you. That bitch look like you. No,
A lot of people turning off Highest to Lowest after 40 minutes, which I understand why, but they're missing, again, the apple of it all.
So all I'll say,
I think the 170 is what's got, and if it is 170,
150, 130, whatever it is.
That feels new and big. That's a really big number for a filmmaker who's never made a movie that has made more than $75 million. What I was trying to say when I was talking about it earlier this week is this is just a major anomaly.
Real quick. You were right about that.
This does not happen every week with white filmmakers. Like
it doesn't.
Unless it's IP.
Right. It doesn't. It doesn't happen every week with white filmmakers. And you explained to me the reasons why it happened, and I accept those. But what I'm trying to say is that the ability for Coogler to even get to the point to where he could say, I want $90 million to make this specific cultural film that I want to make that's set to...
And I want the rights.
Yeah. He had to make billions of dollars at the box office.
You're right.
Billions of dollars.
We are completely lined up.
And then even after his movie opened, they still counted his money.
Yeah.
And so when I say, all right, well, maybe that should also exist for the guy who is my favorite filmmaker, who made The Master.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that should, people, shut up. I'm like, I'm really just saying, does anybody see what's happening? Like, does anyone see what's going on?
The whole Sinners box office, discourse was a nightmare. But
the whole town shot it down, if I'm being honest. There were a bunch of people came out that were whats. Like yourselves that were like, why are we talking about this?
Thank you so much.
It was one of the most bad faith planted arguments to the trades. It was coming in almost entirely from the trades. And it was either competing executives who were trying to avoid what Coogler was able to get, or executives at Warner Brothers who were like, let's make sure that this guy doesn't get too comfortable with what we gave him in this scenario.
Fair enough.
We can speculate in either direction. That conversation sucked and was stupid. And also, we've seen every Ryan Coogler movie. He makes crowd-pleasing movies that people want to go see.
Yeah.
But it's also I think that those same bad faith people are also the bad faith people being like, well, this didn't make enough money and this is a fail. They're the bean counters. And I just, I don't want you to be a bean counter.
I'm not a bean counter. The movies that I loved coming up, I was able to make a movie with Boaz Yakin. Fresh, Mi Vida Loca. The films that really in the 90s there were some big ones too. These films weren't, what was the one when, you guys will remember it. I love this movie. I can't remember the name of it. Was it The Dreamers with Michael Pitt?
Oh yeah,
They were,
the Bernardo
Yeah.
Bertolucci movie. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
those are the joints that like I used to sit and see in Lane Theater. And I also
Eva
had
Green,
Eva
yeah.
Green.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah.
We're talking about
Okay.
prosthetics.
No, those are real.
Those are real.
Why we can talk about the differences.
Those are the movies that deepened my love for film. Punch Drunk Love.
Me too.
Like those are the films that so box office is not concerned with how I view a movie outside of the Marvel films, which are amusement park rides, and there's so much money spent on them that they need to make.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
This idea that you're presenting and that you're the watcher on the wall for this, it's like keep the same energy for both movies for when it's one situation versus another.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you are talking to movie studio executives? Do you feel that you are talking to fans on social media? Do you feel you are talking to white critics and film bros? Like who are you communicating this to? Because that's the thing that I was trying to unpack.
Speaking to Sean and Amanda? That's valuable.
You could just call me.
You're right here.
Yeah, I know. That's a really good question. And the answer is kind of everyone.
Okay.
I'm speaking to everyone for different reasons. I'm trying to call attention to the fact that there is a couple of different standards. And your movie that you think is the greatest movie objectively, like I showed The Master to people and I've told them that this is one of the best films, maybe the best film of the decade. And they've gotten an hour into it and it'd be like, yo, this dude is drinking Lysol. What the fuck are you talking about? what is this? And your movie
Lysol.
that you think is like the greatest movie, there is someone who doesn't get it. And other films,
I know,
like that there it's so
yes.
The criteria of who should be rewarded and then not expected to be financially viable, even that is totally subjective, right? So your genius is somebody else's, hey, I don't get it. And somebody else's, hey, I don't get it, is a genius to someone. So there is no, but Van, it's PTA. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to tell you that if we're talking in the sense of just dollars, then that's not really a criteria right there. I would love to see him get as much money but also I am just having a conversation and letting people know that like, there are people who I think are really, really deserving of being able to tell their stories in grand, amazing ways, and no one fucking cares about them.
Yeah, because there's not a proven path to them making money. Because you have to come with the marketing deck. You have to come with the sales numbers.
Right, like, you know what I'm saying? No one fucking cares about them. And part of me ruffling feathers is just to have that conversation.
You're right.
Now, talk to Sean, talk to Jack Sanders. Jack was a warrior. Jack went to war. Talk to everyone. I get it.
You never come to me.
Well, we talk about different things, though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
like
nice.
we talk about different things. I get it.
But also, Amanda finishes recording and she books out of the office.
Done.
She's like, I am not staying here
She's
today. I stay in the office.
She's the Rachel Lindsay of the big picture. She's gone. But I totally accepted everybody's pushback in good faith and in bad faith. I get it. And I will say this. In the grand scheme of things, is it amazing for someone to get that much money to tell their movie and then not have to be worried about it being 4 quadrant or any of those things? Yes, it is. You guys are right. My question to you is who's next?
Agree.
And that's it. Because I care about the next person that gets a chance to do that. And I care that there are other stories that are like that. And I care that next person is me.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, you know who I've been thinking about a lot is, and I have not seen her next 2 movies, is Nia DaCosta. So Nia DaCosta made a small independent feature with Tessa Thompson. And then she leapt from that movie to a reboot of Candyman. And then she made The Marvels. And Candyman and The Marvels both underperformed. The Marvels in particular had a really, really bad box office performance.
She got a raw deal.
And there was a lot of discussion about who was responsible for that. Was it Marvel's mismanagement of the project? Did that movie get chopped up or taken away from her? Already working inside the Marvel system, Kevin Feige, very much the author of a lot of those stories, if not all of them.
Also, I mean, that movie is about 3 young women and the audience has like a certain bias.
And
I would just say
it wasn't as bad as what they said it was.
it was not.
It just
compared to what everything else that was happening at that time out of Marvel, it was
Right.
like it was kind of on par with what
yeah.
a lot of those movies are. Anyhow, her next two movies now are she has a reimagining of Hedda Gobbler with Tessa Thompson that Amazon is putting out next month, or this month actually, it's October. And then she has the sequel to 28 Years Later, which is coming out in January, The Bone Temple.
Bone Temple.
And I'm really interested to see what happens with her career, because there really has not been a Black female filmmaker who has been consistently working both in independent cinema, making, character studies and franchise films. This will be her third franchise film. And to me, what she is allowed to do in the future, I think is kind of meaningful to what you're describing here, because she made the Marvels and then got a shot at 28 Years Later. Like, she obviously pitched her vision of that movie as a follow-up to a Danny Boyle movie written by Alex Garland, and she got that job. She earned that job. That would not have happened probably 20 years ago. And I'm not saying the things are good.
They're certainly different.
They're evolving.
Yeah.
They're evolving.
No. I'm not gonna look. You guys, I get it. I look around right now, and one of the reasons why it's such a great time to tell stories is because there is so much talent out there. There are so many different mediums, so many different ways, so many different avenues. If you decided that you didn't give a fuck about anything, you could take all the money from the crypto bros or whatever, and you go out there. They all want to be producers. They all so there's all kinds of ways. But I guess my thing is the power of story. Like, you know what I think people are really talking about is what they feel is inspired. Like, when you watch There Will Be Blood, there is a point in the movie, even for me, I think it was like 27 or 28 when it came out, that I was looking at the film and going, like, why am I looking at this? Like, what? Okay, let me pull back a little bit. For filmmakers, for like myself, people that watch movies like myself, an important story is because the message is important. Because, like, not necessarily because the theme is important. The message means look at how these people are living, or look what happens to these people, or look at this. And that's what makes an important story. So you sit down and you get a good movie with great performances, and you get just hit over the head with, this is how the world should change. You don't get that from some of these other films. You get deep exploration of the human condition, right? But you don't come away thinking, right now I have to boycott this or stop doing this or read this book.
But I would much
this.
rather the latter than the former.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is that for me, what I'm saying is there are all types of filmmakers whose stories are important for all types of reasons.
Sure.
Like, there are people that are like struggling and just like dying for you to know just about how this 13-year-old kid in Pakistan lives. And it's the most important thing to them. Either one of those, I think sometimes one part of that, from Black people particularly, our stories have to be societally important.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, they have to be about the condition of race or whatever. And if you tell good movies like that, race or oppression, if you tell good movies like that, then people sometimes reward you with rewards and stuff like that. But the deep exploration of a Thursday in Los Angeles that went bad, a lot of times we don't get rewarded for telling those stories.
Mm-hmm.
And because people don't glom on to those parts of our lives.
Right.
I'm saying a lot to say this. I just want equality in genius.
I agree.
And this has nothing to do with PTA. This has nothing to do with Scorsese. This has nothing to do.
You want them to give the money back.
I don't.
You want them.
I don't want them to
in
give
fact,
the money
these
back.
movies should be deleted, you said.
No. I don't.
And you think they're frauds?
I like the fact that they don't have to work. If anybody, if you ever been on an independent film set, if you've ever been on a film set where people don't have a lot of money, man, it could be fraud. It could be, you could see a DP sweating bullets. Like, guys, please.
You do know that both of those filmmakers, though, that their
That's
roots
where
are
they came
in that.
from.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are from that experience.
They are from that. And over the course of their career, they have been rewarded for their excellence and genius, but also for the fact that people understand the movies that they make.
Yeah.
And that is also a part of the reason why we're seeing them being rewarded with the budgets. I'm just saying there's a whole part of filmmaking, maybe I can say it best this way, that people don't understand as well. Because there aren't people that appreciate those types of films or those types of filmmakers that are bean counters and decision makers and everywhere else. So the only saving grace that they have is that their movies turn a profit, that they make some sort of money, or that they're about enough pain that people feel like they have to tell their friends to watch them. And so for me, I don't always want to tell the story of some abused person, and I don't always want to tell the story of, sometimes I just want the quirkiness of other people to result in a $170 million budget.
There's a really good Kelly Reichardt quote in the A24 piece in the New Yorker. Kelly Reichardt, one of the great American filmmakers and someone who makes small movies and makes quirky stuff, and I love them.
Nobody's giving her 170 anytime soon.
And she made several movies with A24, and then she says, quite honestly, that A24, as they have expanded their ambitions, the movies that she wants to make are no longer right. And what she says is like, I feel lucky that I got 2 or 3 films with A24. She was like, I'm happy that they were, in the mix for a while, and like now they're not anymore. But it was like a pretty crushing little anecdote in, what is a celebratory piece about A24.
We're making an episode about The Smashing Machine, which is part of the elevation of A24. This is a $60, $70 million movie about a MMA fighter.
So, that to me is just kind of like this, the industry, like business sucks. Business crushes, and like all genius and art and elides people and boo corporations.
I can't boo the corporations because you need the corporations to pay for the art. You need the corporations to be the Medicis for the filmmakers.
Yeah,
and
but that is what they are.
True
but
since the beginning of the art form.
It just, that anecdote also illustrates is like they are the Medicis. It is both business, but it is like who is going to decide to be a patron for this amount of time. And Van's point is correct of like, who decides to be a patron and what they decide that they want to patronize sponsor, is like, tends to be certain kind of guys.
Of course. People who you're more comfortable spending time with socially, or that you understand better, or that you idolize, or that you see yourself in.
And certain types of stories.
Yeah. And that's not to say...
But that's not what One Battle After Another is.
Well...
All right, go. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest. I saw One Battle After Another, and you can't not like it. It's really good.
Yeah.
2 things. One, I legitimately, and you guys...
It's okay.
But the criticism before, I legitimately don't understand the gas. Like, honestly don't understand the gas.
Okay,
like,
but you mean that like, you don't mean like literally the Sean Penn gas.
Nah, the Sean Penn gas is different.
Yeah, okay. I was like, am I going to need to explain like...
That's different.
Okay.
Like, the Sean Penn's character is written to rule the movie. Yeah. And he does rule the movie.
It's so funny. Jomi was in here and was talking about that. And I was saying like, I basically don't think of that character when I think about the movie. It's obviously integral to what's going on in the movie, and the performance is like alarming. But when I am thinking what sticks with me, it's like Sean Penn is not in the frame.
Sean Penn, and this is why this movie is such a fantastic piece of art.
Yeah.
Sean Penn's character in the movie to me is the only character that actually has a want. Everybody else is responding to his want, to his thing. And his want is so, it becomes...
that's not true. Chase Infinity's character has a want.
Infinity doesn't know what her want is, but like that's part of the thing that she's trying to figure out.
So Chase Infinity's character really doesn't have a want. She's placed in peril, and she's reactionary to everything that she's placed into.
Yeah. I mean, when we meet her, we meet a young girl who's trying to find her own way, who's trying to find independence from her father, this weird sheltered life that's been explored for her. She's trying to build a life of her own. And the reason that we care that she's in peril is because we've seen that.
For me, I'll just talk about for me.
Okay.
The reason why I care that she was in peril is because she was in peril. The reason why I care that she was in peril is because she was an innocent. And I think characters like that are always
Mhm.
interesting because they didn't sign up for it. It's the classic kid thing. I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
So how can you have these rules for me? You're inflicting your rules based upon your life on me, and I didn't ask for none of this.
Yeah, but
And so with the things that
I
are
so
happening,
disagree with that.
the things that are happening to her are happening to her because of mistakes and situations that other people have made and put her in.
Yep.
And so watching her climb out of those mistakes and situations is very satisfactory, is very satisfying, should I say. But the person that is saying, I have to get her, I have to do this, even that like starts our narrative with the want of perfidia, the person that spins all of this into a story is Lockjaw. That's why, to me, Lockjaw is the meatiest character in the thing because, and that's why his death, the first death, particularly the second death, is not needed. But the first,
you didn't like the T2 homage?
nah, the first death, the reason why it was so perfect was because it was so unceremonious. It was just, hey, guess what? It's the way things work in life. You fucked with the wrong people, no one even, boom, head blown off. I was like, wow, to take him out like that, you wanted all these baked, you wanted to be a part of the Christmas motherfuckers, and you wanted to do all of this stuff. Boom, you did the wrong thing, head blown off.
Yep.
So, I mean, not necessarily, I'm looking at the film and I'm thinking the film was hysterical. It was so much funnier than I thought it was going to be. The performances are all fantastic, all of that. But like best movie that we've seen in a long, I didn't see that or feel that in any sort of way. And
do you feel that perhaps you are not emotionally and intellectually incentivized to withhold a little bit based on your presentation about your ideas before you saw the movie?
Perhaps, which is why I'm going to see it again.
Okay.
Oh, that's exciting.
Perhaps, which is why I'm going to see it again.
Which is not to say I don't trust you, but in the same way that I am not trusted when it comes to a PTA movie, because I'm so far in the bag, I have become the bag.
Well, this is your Marvel. And by the way, can I tell you guys something? About
Here we go. Marvel's back.
Let's have a conversation about this. There is nothing wrong with being irrationally connected to something that you really care about.
Of course, I agree with that.
Everybody that's kicking my ass, I like this. That's what y'all don't understand about me.
Kicking your ass.
Everybody that's going to like, everybody that's doing this, I like this because this shows me an intense connection to moving cinema and media. And this is what has to happen for movies to get made and people to get their shot. You have to fucking care. So I enjoy it. But I also understand that a lot of films are looked at in two different ways. And this happens in rap a lot too. You know this. If your reputation precedes you to the point where he used to write, him and Chris,
I grew up in Atlanta. What is this?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there we go.
It's like the better people think you are, the more they allow you to fail.
Yeah.
And not that this movie is in any way a failure, except for one way.
Kingdom Come happened, and we were like, we'll move on. We'll get to 444.
Yeah, it's Jay. You know he can do it. So even if there's one way that this movie fails.
Okay.
And we talked about it on Midnight Boys. This movie fails Black women.
Okay.
I knew.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And man, there's because, and this is the nut kick. There are Black women in this movie, and they are some of the most talented, amazing performers that we have. Tiana Taylor, Regina Hall. You do not want to. They would not endeavor into anything that they didn't think is nourishing. So I'm really interested to see how they are going to respond to some of the criticism of the movie. I'm not going to say anything that's original. Brooke Obie, the great Brooke Obie, has talked about this. A lot of other people have written about this. This movie basically came out at the same time that Asad Shakur died. An actual real-life Black female revolutionary. The portrayal of Perfidia Beverly Hills in this movie, despite being really well portrayed, almost otherworldly by Tiana Taylor, is an abomination. It's like, it is.
Say what? Yeah.
It
say
is
why.
Because of the actions that the character takes?
because of I it was typically, and you know, I was verbose on this about on the Midnight Buzz about it, but intention is what matters when you're talking about the care of Black women. The situation that Black women exist, and particularly Black women with a certain political thrust that have put their lives on the line for revolution, the way that they've been undermined, exiled, and treated in America is intentional.
Mhm.
So when there is a portrayal of a Black woman, particularly a Black woman that exists in the space that Perfidia Beverly Hills exists in, you want to see that same intention in them, that same care in them. And what you really kind of got was someone that was so grotesquely selfish and unaware that everyone that she met was worse off because of it.
Mhm.
And it's just an interesting standpoint to watch a white male writer director put a Black female character in.
Mhm.
Like it's just an interesting
Yeah.
thing. I've seen really compelling arguments on both sides of this, like, hey, true freedom is the ability to be flawed and be redeemed. All of that. I've seen that, and I hold space for that. But like,
It's dramatics. It's not a documentary.
I understand, but I also understand that there are tropes that exist. I mean, there might be a dramatic place for blackface to exist in a film like this or some other place. That doesn't mean I want to see it.
Mhm.
And that
For
doesn't
sure.
mean I want to see it done irresponsibly.
Sure.
And so I think one way that we can all kind of show that we are in lockstep as filmmaking fans is to accept some of this criticism and understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And when you see someone like, let's fuck while the bomb goes off, goes in there, she's trying to liberate people, get your dick up. She has sex with both of the white protagonists, gets pregnant by one, abandons her child because she's too safe, then snitches on the whole thing and leaves, and then writes on the wall, this pussy don't pop for you no more. That seems like somebody's fetish fantasy.
Mhm.
It just,
Yeah. I mean,
it seems like somebody's fetish fantasy. I know this is adapted from something, and that character is not a Black lady in this, but I think that actually makes it worse.
Do you think it's mitigated at all by the fact that her daughter is the hero of the story?
No, I don't.
do you think it's mitigated at all by
To me,
Well-
I think that the presentation of those ideas, which I went on Wesley Morris's pod, which I think goes up later this week, and we
Yeah.
talked about this a little bit on his show too.
Oh, Wesley.
I anticipated
Yeah,
this,
of
and it's very
course.
understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very raw portrayal.
Listen to what I say. Listen to him.
If people get into your
Wesley Morris.
mentions about like this is like woke revolutionary propaganda or whatever, I'm like, if you look at how Perfidia is characterized, this is not a celebration of someone who's pursuing
No.
that lifestyle at all. In fact, it's like it's a very harsh portrayal.
She's a,
And you can say insensitive or wrong.
well,
if you want to.
insensitive. Not only that, but like also Leonardo DiCaprio is holding her child, and she spits to him a bunch of bullshit about the revolution when really
See,
she
I
just
didn't
doesn't.
see it that way. I don't.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is what I wanted to ask you. I mean, his question, is it mitigated by her daughter, a young Black woman, being like the hero? But is it mitigated by it's an incredibly selfish character, and also a character that does everything, or a movie that has the character do everything that you just said, which is, you know, a stereotype, like a stereotype fetishization.
it.
It's very hard on
It
this
is
level. A summary, all in one. I do think that both the filmmaking and the performance at least explores or tries to signal at like why that's happening, and why, or ask the question of why is this person so selfish, and why is this person doing these things, and does the exploration maybe that doesn't, but that scene that you were talking about in particular, he's holding her baby and she has just gone through a montage I like keep thinking about, which is, some people have called it postpartum depression, but like
Certainly.
we don't even need to add that name to it. It's just the really disorienting feeling of having given birth to another human, and what does that mean to you, and what does that mean for the other person, and what does that make you? What is your concept of yourself? Like, as a mother, what is the concept of like being a mother? Is that different from being a person? And then, this scene when she's with Lockjaw and his boner starts first. And then she's like, I see that I have some sort of power. But like, what is... to me, Tiana Taylor's performance explores like the feelings and the experiences of those stereotypes in a way. And maybe it doesn't for you, and maybe it doesn't communicate. And if it did, would that mitigate it? Or is it...
So her irresponsibility starts before she gives birth. Like they're sitting down and she's drinking and stuff. And he goes, it's like she doesn't even know that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about how hapless Bob is, but he wasn't hapless when he knew that he was going to become a father. It changed everything for him.
Also, can I just like, as that's also an example of a white man policing like, what someone wants to do. And my experience of pregnancy was like a bunch of people telling me what I can't do and can or can't do with my body in ways that, by the way, is still happening like all the time. And, so
I'm sorry for all those comments I made to you.
Sure, thank you.
Jesus Christ.
But like, so even that, I guess like he's being responsible, but also it's like she can do whatever she wants.
This is me from a very privileged perch communicating this, but when I was watching the movie, and I've seen the movie 4 times now, to me, that character is an expression of the necessary self-preservation and coercion that happens when you are a Black woman pursuing these ideas in the world. And that there is a way that you are fetishized, that you are made into an icon of a certain type, and that there are a lot of men and a lot of lockjaws in the world that put you in positions of, I don't know about helplessness, but surrender because of their power. And also that the entire movie is about one generation's version of revolution and another generation's version of revolution. And
commentary on that.
And the impossibility because of the ruthlessness of our system, I think, in some ways, to pursue violent revolution, which is what Perfidia represents. She represents a no-holds-barred pursuit, an explosive, aggressive, criminal pursuit, not a nonviolent pursuit. And the tension there, I don't think it's judging her. If you want to say she does terrible things.
It doesn't judge her at all. It doesn't. The movie doesn't judge her at all. The movie, as a matter of fact, doesn't actually investigate almost anything about her. I guess my thing is, like, I know those Black lady revolutionaries, but not ones that are, and they mamas. And they, I know,
they're not selfish. They're not crumbling.
Well, they are. Hold on, they are the opposite of selfish. Their politic, and I'm not saying that this means that Perfidia's has to be. Their politic for the entire world and society comes from the way that they feel like their children should be accepted and reared in it. So,
but Perfidia exists in that lineage. We see her grandmother talking to Bob, saying, "My daughter my granddaughter comes from a long line of revolutionaries." I think the thing that I'm trying to point out here is Perfidia is one character.
But those women, the movie isn't about those women. The movie is about her.
No, it's not about her. She is in the prologue.
I know, but when I say it's about her, I mean they're in it in the background. The character, like every other, so Regina Hall's character. Every Black woman that shows care in the movie is punished for it. I don't know if that's accidental, but it happened.
I think it's on purpose.
Right. So
this is the most vulnerable class in our society. That's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, Perfidia is one of the people in the movie that punished other Black women. All of this stuff is happening to them because of her. So
she took actions, but she exists inside of a system that coerces her.
She snitched. She snitched, got Jungle Pussy killed, she destroyed her own revolution, sent everybody running for the hills. She abandoned her daughter. And then when Regina Hall comes back into the movie to save her daughter and brings her to the nuns, she brings Lockjaw's rage with her and destroys all of those lives
and
too.
Every single one of the nuns is handcuffed. There is that shot of them walking out.
Every single one of them
Mm-hmm.
is gone. I'm not saying that this was all done in intentional messaging from the writer-director from PTA, but what I'm saying is that, like, oftentimes that character might mean more to me than it does to other people.
Mm-hmm.
The portrayal of that character might mean more to me. I might feel a little bit more inclined to be like, what are we trying to say here? Right? And somebody else might be sitting at their desk going, I'm gonna write a cool, sexy, badass black chick. I'm gonna do all of this stuff. It does strike to me that, like, when it strikes me, should I say, that when Quentin Tarantino decided that he was going to, like, orient his movie around a black woman, he treated somebody who has a fraught relationship with race. He treated her with so much care. Like, and that might have been his respect for Pam Grier. That might have been what that was about. But it seemed like at least there was an understanding that a middle-aged black female needs for someone to be able to zoom out and look at the entirety of what that means and the decisions she would have to make. And the movie almost, like, in that film, she almost floats around on clouds and watches the chaos around her and has the wherewithal and the gumption to be able to navigate it. It's a very empowering performance.
I mean, you're describing a movie. You're describing the hero of a movie. Perfidia is not the hero of this movie.
She's the villain, and she's
not. She's not.
She?
Well, she's one of the villains of the film. How could she not be?
She does terrible things, but that doesn't make you a villain in a movie. Lockjaw is the villain. Lockjaw is the agent of the system that puts Perfidia in this situation in the first place.
He is the agent of the system, and
he is also literally the person who impregnates her, which is, there's a
load-bearing metaphor there.
Yeah.
Quite literally a load.
What I'm saying is all of these things are choices that she's made where she centers herself and no one else.
You're right.
And like, that is the opposite of what black female activists and revolutionaries do.
Yes.
They prioritize their communities and their families. They take on family. Everybody becomes their family to a point that they live lives in imperiled lives for decades, for their entire life, because of their decisions to put other people before them.
This is like a really complex philosophical dynamic that you're describing. What you're talking about is the value of representation. Is it better for the film and better for society that the film depict, if it's going to depict a black female revolutionary, that it do so in what you would describe as true terms and that also feel like moral terms? That for the movie's sake, it is better if Perfidia Beverly Hills does not rat, goes into a kind of seclusion, or is killed and made a martyr figure, and then the story can go from there. Or is this the creation of an artist, granted a white male artist, but the creation of an artist, and that the story and what the movie is ultimately driving towards, which is ultimately about this tension between two generations trying to make change, is that ultimately more important? And do you want to empower the artist? Because you premised a lot of this conversation on people being able to express themselves and say the things that they want to say that are valuable to them, and whether it be at $2 million or $170 million.
Yeah.
So you get into an area where you're effectively policing characterization by saying, this is not okay that this person in this film, it does these things, because this is not what the movement is about. I would always quibble with that. That is in the territory of like borderline censorship that I'm ultimately not comfortable with. But I am also a white guy hosting a movie podcast in my 40s. I'm aware of what it means to say that. And that it's easier for me to say, he should be able to do whatever he wants. But it is very, very complicated once you start saying, this was the worst part of the movie because I didn't like what it showed about something that I feel is not true in society.
Only for black people does truth equate to censorship. And the reason why I say that is because what we've begged is for an accurate representation of us for a long time. And sometimes what comes back is, these are the stories. If you want to be in them, we should be able to tell them the way we see them. And we're saying, okay, that's not us. And not only is that not us, but it's so not us that it plays into tropes that have been used to minimize us. Can we talk about it? Like, can we discuss the fact, and we are discussing it.
Mm-hmm.
We are discussing it.
Just to be real with you.
I'm very happy to be discussing it.
Yeah, we are discussing it. And I'll, company man, I don't have this, people can say what the fuck they want about this place, but we've been discussing it. Like on podcasts, in the fucking room.
You're right.
We've been talking about it, and nobody has gotten. Maybe Jack got pissed off a little bit. Nobody has gotten mad. Nobody has stormed out. Nobody has
it's super important.
Nobody has not had the conversation. We've been doing that. But what I'm saying is that no one wants to see PTA or anybody else have to write to what they feel the best intentions of a character are, because that makes for boring movies.
Right. That's ultimately what I'm getting at.
True. But after generations, we do just start to ask why.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, these are not just conversations that we have about Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. We have them about Tyler Perry's movies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And goddamn it, if we're going to have them about Tyler Perry's movies or about hip hop or about any of this stuff, if we're going to have these conversations intracommunally, then we certainly gonna have them.
Yeah.
When we see movies that are about to win 10 Oscars and all of that stuff, and about the portrayal of black women in them, we have to have them.
Of course.
And they're uncomfortable to have when Wood Harris is in it. Do you know how fucking excited I get to see
we all would have liked more Wood Harris.
We all would have liked more Wood Harris. Excited I
Yes.
get to see Wood Harris in the movie. Wood Harris should be not just in this movie. Wood Harris should be in every movie. Guess what? He's earned it. He's earned it.
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor has earned it.
My
Regina
wife was
Hall
like,
has...
what happened to Avon?
Yeah.
Like 40 minutes into the movie.
He's earned it. These performers have earned it. And it's so fucking awesome to see them up there with these other people that are minted in the town.
Part of the reason why I think I'm pushing back on this a little bit, setting aside my fanboy status.
Yeah.
This movie goes to great lengths to portray Deandra. This movie shows us Mother Superior at the Sisters of the Brave Beaver. This movie does make Chase Infinity ultimately the person who fires the gun and saves the day. Like, it's not, to me, it is not an insensitive portrayal, but it is a portrayal with a lot of nuance and friction. And like the Perfidia character, just like the character in the film, is a confrontation to the audience. It is a question of, if this person existed, what would happen in the world? And that is something that art, in my opinion, should and can do. So what you're saying is 100% valid, that after generations of portrayals like this, just saying like, why is it like this? This doesn't feel right. I respect it. But I'm very uncomfortable with specifically saying we can't do this.
Well, it's, I don't think anybody is saying that you can't. Obviously you can. I think we're exploring the why more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And also that it doesn't land, and we talked about that even walking out. The decision to make Perfidia the rat, which is from the book, but is just a very fraught, and you walk out and even you and I, we're questioning the decision and what does that mean? And what are you representing with that? And it's, and did you need to do it? I don't know. Like that to me, I guess I have editor brain. I'm just like, well, what if we just tweaked this? And maybe everyone would be a lot happier.
Yeah.
And not a lot happier. That sounds reductive, but maybe it would all add up. I think it's conscious, and I think it is meaning to provoke us.
100%. In my opinion, I
also completely understand if it doesn't land.
But part of why it's good, I think, is because it generated this conversation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, two things. One, when black women roll their eyes, I'll just be honest with you. Like cultural differences. When black women roll their eyes, my innate response is, what's wrong?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where we at. We in a restaurant, eye roll, what's wrong? Like we in a movie, in a show, eye roll. When black women roll their eyes, what's wrong? What's up? Tell me what's up. Because we got to have this conversation. And there's some eye rolling that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why the eye rolling is going on. There's a last thing that gets said. There a lot of times could be 150 performances that are sometimes pandering with the heroism of certain characters. Sometimes you write them as if they are Mother Superior or whatever like that sometimes. But when it's something like this that people love so much, we always ask, why do you love that depiction?
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's something like this and everyone goes, this is the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
The most amazing thing ever. It's why is it that depiction that you love?
Mm-hmm.
After Denzel Washington has been nominated for Malcolm X, this is not a criticism of Denzel, he has won his Oscar for playing a slave and then a dirty cop.
Yep.
We always go, well, why is it that after Halle Berry has been in the town for so long making great movies, she got, let me be respectful, but you guys have seen Monsters Ball.
Mm-hmm.
We always go, that's what y'all like. Like, okay. All right. Now, if we make the movie, then obviously the characters are more nuanced, right? But not all the time, but we always go, that's what you like, huh? That's what you will reward. That's what is the greatest thing. And the question just, why? Like and
I'm not saying any of these things are solved because they're not solved.
Things
have been, I would describe Hollywood in this particular aspect as very different in the last 10 years. There's to me, there's a demarcation point between 12 Years a Slave to now where that felt to me like kind of the last time when that framework of storytelling. Well, that's a
reaction.
That's a.
I get. Well. By the way,
the character in Green Book is not the kind of character that you're describing. Mahershala's win there. That's an elegant artist that is portrayed on screen.
And listen to me, man. Like you can't, because some of this stuff gets into. Then we're policing what kind of roles we should be taking and what kind of stuff. And that is
he also did win for Moonlight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is coming from Barry's mind, which when you look at the movies that he has made or that Ava has made or that I can go down and down and down and up and up and up and up and up and all of that stuff, you see these three-dimensional characters who exist. If you were to take Mahershala Ali's character in Moonlight, I'm going to be real with you. Those were the drug dealers that I knew.
Mm-hmm. Juan.
Just Juan. Yeah. Like those were the guys that I knew. I didn't know the guys that were like, hey man, fuck everybody, kill them all, doing this. I'm sure those guys were around. The guys that I knew would feel a little bit of shame when looked at their grandmother the wrong way. They were uncomfortable in church. They were awed when people were talking about right and wrong. They knew they were doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they also sometimes went overboard to protect you and to put you in a feeling of safety and to do things for you. So you would look the other way while they were doing shit that they knew they had no business doing, but that the choice matrix that they were presented with made them do. And so I just never, you just got to a point where when you saw that character, you were just like, Jesus Christ. Like, thank you, Barry. Like, that's my Uncle Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's him. I cannot read his rap sheet and then tell you that he was a good guy because you're not going to believe me. Like, once I do it, I can't do that. But that's the fucking guy. That's him. And then he dies just in that movie and they don't even show it. They just come back, Juan been dead. That's how it happens. And nobody cares except for the 4 fucking people that relied on him. And then you get into another film and it's like, oh. And it's everything that everyone is saying is correct. And bro, it feels like being a drag at the fucking party. Well, I'm just saying, let's just talk it out.
You're not the drag of the party.
No. The only reason why I'm saying that is because it's like this guy, I've been this guy for so long. It's like, I remember when the Kanye thing happened, like people from Best Buy, they were emailing me and they were like, remember that conversation we had in the parking lot outside work when you were going crazy over the Iraq war? I was like, yeah. It's like, glad to see you.
You made that your career. Yeah.
Made that my whole fucking career. And so I'm not trying to record scratch y'all movie. I swear to God, I'm not.
No, it's obviously something that people have been asking us about since we've been raving about it. Most people are raving about this. This is one of the more unanimous raves. And now, 10 days since release is the time when everybody's gonna be like, are we sure this is good? Let's explore the ways in which maybe it isn't working.
Well, okay, two things. The movie is good, but there is just the overall quality of the film. There is I feel like there is a gas to it that I don't understand. But that's besides the point because we could talk.
Yes.
I ranked my PTA movies and I put The Master above There Will Be Blood and people were like, are you fucking with me?
Same.
I
did that on the last episode. So I'm
right
there. And then I put this and Phantom Thread above those. So.
Oh, interesting. You put this movie above Boogie Nights?
Yeah.
You're wilding.
Well, he did too.
You're crazy.
But honestly.
Crazy People's Podcast. We're changing the name. Change the lower thirds. The name of this podcast is no longer The Big Picture. It's the Crazy People's Podcast.
But also all of my...
I'm so glad you're here. Yeah. This wasn't even planned. Yesterday I was like, convey, come on.
I know, but seriously though, and look, once again, Joe told me how much she loved Inherent Vice. I told that to somebody in the office.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to say who it was, and they threw their shit on the ground.
She hates it.
I literally said, get out of here when talking about it, because that's the lowest on my list.
Right.
But I'm not a stoner. I'm not doing any part of that. And the 3 PTA movies that my top 2 have women characters in them, So it's like, it's not rocket science, kind of like what you're responding to. And even when we were talking about Perfidia, I'm talking about the half of the experience that I can relate to with her,
Yeah.
So it's not hard.
Yeah. So, and that is what it is. I really enjoyed the movie. The theater had a great time. I think there's something to be said about a movie that deals in such weighty stuff that you can still have a good time with. And that's kind of
absolutely.
It's a fun thinker.
It's a fun thinker. There are other things in the movie that
For the record, that was my takeaway from Sinners as well, which is, I was like, this movie is loaded with ideas, but it's just a fun time. It's just the in-theater experience was very exciting.
You're having fun. As far as a lot of the pushback that you're seeing, I'll just say it again. A lot of pushback that you're seeing from people about some of the characterizations of Black women and some of the fates of Black women in the movie. I think that there's something, and I just want to say this very cleanly. We want to see Black ladies taken care of. And when we see them not being taken care of, we're going to have a conversation. Now, does that always mean that that conversation won't be met with whatever? No, but we will have the conversation. And in this film, it seemed like particularly that character, the overall characterization of revolutionaries, period, something that's very important to the African-American tradition, the Black tradition in this country, were treated in sort of a haphazard way that some would say that I say doesn't do it any justice. I mean, that's the point of the movie. But with something that's going to be this important culturally, it's a conversation that has to happen. And that's what art does. That's what art does. We have the conversation. And so that's what art does.
So the takeaway is that this film is about how the only people who are good at revolution are white men.
Actually, no one in this movie is good at anything.
It's true.
I mean, just to be honest with you,
to a person.
Who's good at stuff?
I mean, Sensei Sergio is very good. He saves Bob twice.
Even he drinks. He's drinking beer in front of the cops and kind of just But he is.
But that's by design.
But you know who's good at stuff in this movie?
Who's that?
The Christmas niggas.
Yeah.
They're
the big winners.
They
did not lose any control.
They did not lose anything. And it's once again, it just even that.
Again, that's part of point with the Perfidia character is like, there's nothing she can do to overcome this. Nothing.
But there is. We have overcome.
We've overcome the way that power is organized in the United States of America?
This is not CNN.
Yeah.
Fan.
We have overcome.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, we haven't, I'll just say this in the weekend movie.
Yeah.
We haven't overcome totally, but we started off in this country
I mean,
as beasts, as cattle. We started off in this country as people who were cut off from God, from humanity. Everything that we invented was stolen. Everything that we were was bought and sold. And we've overcome that. We haven't completely reformed and reshaped America into the vision of itself that it said it was. We haven't. But we certainly, through the power of our ancestors and the kinetic energy of our fight and our unity culturally, have overcome a wilderness that wanted to kill us. We have. And so we can overcome, and we will. And we kind of always do. But while we're watching these movies on the way to it, and we've overcome because of us, it was us, but we've overcome with help from other people who realized the shit was wrong. And so I'm never cynical. Just so people know me, I'm never cynical about what has been achieved. I'm not going to act like the fight is over when there's so much.
We have a very different point of view about this. The arc of Black Americans, what you're describing, of course, is true. The way what the movie is suggesting about the way that power works in the country, while it is very funny because it's written in a very humorous way, I think is eerily true.
You're right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, hold on. Winning and overcoming, two different things. Now, we ain't won. But we've actually...
I don't even know what winning would look like.
Yeah, it's kind of
weird,
weird,
I'm
right?
not even sure I think about the world that way.
Because we're not in a winning. Winning for me would be very simple. It would be the power of economic, political, and society existing with the people of America and not existing with corporate. But we don't have to get into all that.
Yep.
So I mean, that's a win that maybe that can't even happen. But
Right
as far
on.
as over,
I just want to sit on my couch, smoke weed, and watch the Battle of Algiers.
that's what the fuck I'm talking about.
You know, that's what I want to be able to do.
Talking about. But as far as all that overcoming, we might not win, but we've overcome some really incredible things. Look, this movie asks a lot of incredible questions, but it is essentially, and that's the last thing I'll say, it's essentially a movie about a father and a daughter. So it's essentially what the movie is about. A father and a daughter. And I think the most interesting thing about the movie is it's not about an actual father and a daughter. It's about the love that you have for someone and how that love exists no matter what the reality of the situation is.
That's right.
It's
me. It's your dad.
It's me.
Best part.
It's your dad. And all of the things that you're supposed to be able to draw on to save the people that you love.
Yeah.
That sometimes you can't because sometimes you don't remember the password. So I praise and revere the movie. And at the same time, the movie is some fuck shit. It's a good movie. Not the best movie that's ever been made. It doesn't hold a candle to Parasite or other movies like that. It's not even in the same fucking class. But it's also some fuck shit.
Okay.
I think millions of people will hear this episode and feel seen by your comments. So thank you.
Millions of people listen to the big picture?
Yeah.
Last episode,
y'all got it like that?
Yeah, last episode had 36 million listeners.
You lying. I was about to say, we got to, speaking of overcoming, y'all got to overcome. Y'all doing good, but I didn't know it was happening.
No. Thank you.
We love you.
You are the man.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All complaints at Van Lathan on Twitter. And I
catch him on CNN. Thanks so much to Van. Thanks to Amanda. Thanks to our producer, Jack Sanders, for his work on this episode. Thanks to you for receiving this episode in good faith. We'll see you very soon on The Big Picture.